December 2022, we went to Sicily to see what happens to migrants rescued trying to cross the Mediterranean. Since then, Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has admitted her country needs outsiders.
L'Italia e l'Europa hanno bisogno di immigrazione.
Some of them at least, because it needs workers. But some of those it doesn't want were recently sent unsuccessfully, it turned out, to Italian-run processing camps in Albania. Here's a look at what we found there. And what is different today.
Can you tell me the emotion?
Integration means that I have to let go of my culture.
More people to come in as immigrants?
This is Italy, the 8th largest economy in the world.
And those on that ship? It's almost as if you are picking a fight with Italy.
This is our story about the state of Italy and the state that Italy is in. Welcome to Beyond Borders.
Migrant boat arrivals in Italy may have fallen by more than 60% in 12 months, but still, more than 5,000 people have died in the Mediterranean since we were in Sicily. The processing centre at this Albanian airbase will hold 3,000. The plan is to put up to 36,000 through the system every year. Yet as I write this, judges have said the first deportations are illegal. And 12 migrants have been sent back to Italy, where the government says it will fight the ruling. But to return to our original story. On a clear winter's day in 2022, we found ourselves in Sicily, where the Geo Barents, operated by Doctors Without Borders, MSF, had sailed into Catania, much to the government's fury. The new Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, had refused to give permission for rescue ships to dock at Italian harbours, where they hoped to let off the hundreds of men, women and children rescued from the Mediterranean every day after leaving Africa. There is politics at play here, both from the government and the aid organisations who run the ships. Points of principle, and caught in the middle, those who say they're fleeing conflict. How many of them are simply economic migrants, rather than in fear of their lives, is for tribunals to decide in the years to come. Many of the children who've made the crossing go to school here in Catania. They're trauma clear to those who try to help.
Because everybody now knows what's happening in Libya to them before they come here. They get raped, they get like a slave, they don't get the pay, they ask for the money to the family to freedom them. It's really, really shame, really hard for them.
When the children come here,
yeah,
they're hoping for a good life.
Yeah.
Can you and the people who help them give them that?
Yes, yes. We do everything we can.
Do you understand why some Italians don't want these people to come?
They think they come here to steal our job, but actually they come here to find a island where to live and to stay free from the war and from the pain.
Can you come to your right, Paolo? What is the condition like on the ship?
The condition is very tense. People are very worried. They are very stressed. Every day that is passing, the tensions arises, increases. So they cannot manage the uncertainty of not knowing what's going to happen next and when something is going to happen.
It sounds very dangerous on board in terms of emotions. We heard that some people had jumped overboard. Do you think that sort of thing is likely again?
Yeah, for sure. They try to whatever idea that they can have to call the attention and to make their rights being heard and applied. So that one, hunger strikes. Also, we are having psychological distress, panic attacks. So this is happening every time on board. Unfortunately, they need to disembark ASAP.
And if we come with you now, can we see anything?
Let's say if the authorities let you in, you can try.
We can try.
I see many people.
Can we go with them? Yeah, okay, let's give it a go. Come on, Paolo, let's give it.
No.
No?
No, scusami, c'era...
The reason is?
Spagnola.
Okay, grazie.
Where are you from?
From England.
England, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Good luck. They won't let us in, they won't say why, but it's pretty tight security.
In August of 2024, the Geo Barents was impounded in southern Italy, but the following month, Médecins Sans Frontières won a court battle for the vessel to be released. MSF says its work with Mediterranean migrants will go on, and that it will, as it puts it, continue to save lives. While these protesters were demanding the migrants be freed immediately, others saw this as just another day at the docks, sitting by the sea in the sun.
One of the things he's saying is enough, and it's the politicians who are making a meal out of this and taking advantage of everybody, not just the migrants, but people like him fishing there. It's a sentiment that seems to be echoed by so many of them.
This humanity, this not like this Biblo for Sicily. Biblo, just German, Libya, Tripoli, rest là, militare là.
Basta?
Basta. This Italian cuore buono.
Perché non può essere solo l'Italia ad accogliere tutti i migranti. Quindi magari arriveranno qui, ma poi devono essere distribuiti in tutti i paesi dell'Europa, ok?
The huge, great cruise ship that's not very far from the Geo Barents started in Germany, went to Portugal, then down to Spain, and it's now in Sicily. So you have this strange juxtaposition of those that are on holiday and wondering what to do with themselves, and those on that ship wondering what's going to happen to them.
Help us is the cry. Will somebody please listen?
Yesterday evening we had to do an urgent medical evacuation of somebody by ambulance who was taken urgently to the hospital. We are treating several people for panic attacks, and people are tired, angry, and need to get off now.
Women, children and the sick are soon allowed off. The men have to be checked and double-checked. For them it is another 24 hours. By the next day, the men are receiving health checks at a sports hall in Catania. The police commander in charge of security, Vincenzo Saetta, tells me we can't talk to them. They're being processed, he says. We have already met Juan Gil from MSF at the docks in Sicily. Now we sit down at the group's headquarters in Rome. He's not a doctor, but an Argentinian economist who's worked for the NGO in Colombia, Iraq, Syria and Africa. He's dealing with a government whose interior minister says, we will not accept lessons in human rights.
It's almost as if you are picking a fight with Italy. Why not go to Spain, go to France, go to a country where you know it is safe? You're provoking the Italians, aren't you?
Not at all. We are following the maritime law. The maritime law says that place of safety, the survivor has to be disembarked in the place with the minimum deviation of the route of the place, and also in the guidelines it highlights all the human consequences of this. No,
but that means it's always going to be Italy, doesn't it? Because it's the closest.
Because of proximity. Because of proximity. This in this case would be Malta and Italy.
Once the survivors are disembarked, then we can open another discussion how to distribute these people in Europe, if they are seeking for international protection or not, etc. But this is a second discussion. The first moment, you need to ensure that they are safe on shore.
But with the geo-barons the other day, you knew they didn't want you to be there. Yeah. Why not go somewhere where you know you can disembark them? Why continue to fight with the Italian authorities?
Because
you're trying to make a point.
Yeah, exactly. We are trying to make a point respecting the rights of the people and the obligation of the state. And Italy, in this case, they are signatories of the international convention that they are obliging the responsible authorities of the search and rescue region to respond to this emergency.
But can I just ask you this? In trying to make a point, are you not putting the health and indeed the lives of some of those passengers at risk?
It's not us putting them at risk, it's the authorities who are not giving us support. I give you a very good example. You go out of this office, you have an accident and an ambulance is coming. What do you tell to the ambulance? Take me to the closest hospital, or do you take me to the hospital near my residence in the UK?
I tell you what I say to them. I say, if the hospital nearest to here is closed, take me to the first one that is open and working. And you knew that Catania was closed to you.
Yeah, but again, we need to push them to fulfill their obligations. And on the contrary, it's not granted that going to another place. What is granted that going to another place will deteriorate the situation of the people.
Will you continue to try to dock in Italy and force the Italian authorities to take the migrants off the vessels? Will you carry on doing that?
As long as we don't have an official mechanism of search and rescue with a clear mandate of saving life at sea, and not a deterrence and border control operation, will need to be there, will be forced to be there, because we cannot allow ourselves letting people drown.
Across Italy's capital, we're to meet a young man called David Yambio. He says he was a child soldier in South Sudan who fled civil war to reach Libya and then tried to cross the Mediterranean 4 times before finally making it to Italy. He has asylum, but MSF now pays for him to campaign against people smuggling across the country.
Well, everything is difficult because I am in a society where upon your arrival, the first thing you have to do is to integrate. They tell you about integration, which is not inclusion. Integration means that I have to let go of my culture, I have to learn Italian language, I have to learn different cultural things, I have to start eating pizza, not the food of my will. So all these things is a bit difficult and it's challenging. For you to be accepted, you have to integrate into a society. It's very difficult.
You have 16 brothers and sisters with your mother. Your father's had 12 other children. So you come from a family of 28 young people. Do you think you'll see them again? Because they are all still in Africa.
I don't think, but I still have hope that the world should become a better place when we are trying to fight for a safe passage, for a freedom of movement for everybody, so that even my country could have peace and I could travel back home to see my people. And they can have the freedom even to migrate, to travel to each European country, and we could meet. So I still have hope.
Since we met in Rome in 2022, David Yambio's continued his human rights work, and in 2023 denounced the European Commission for what he calls its complicity in murder.
We are charging this commission with murder, with rape, with enslavement, with torture, and with everything inhuman that comes about. We denounce hypocrisy, we denounce lack of recognition, we denounce all this structural racism.
David Yambio is just one of thousands of migrants who come from the south. As pressing for many Italians is the case of Ukrainians fleeing conflict, because that is costing them millions of euros. At this charity in Rome, Ukrainian refugees were learning Italian and were shown how to settle in.
Їжу, багато чого, ставлення. Мені дуже подобається ставлення до нас, іностранців, бо ми якби чужі люди, а вони ставляться дуже добре. Я це бачу деякий час дуже добре, мені дуже подобається.
Тому що ніхто не залишився на вулиці, ніхто, я думаю, не залишився голодним. Я особисто на собі не відчула жодного разу ні від одного італійця якогось дискомфорту чи якогось поганого відношення.
In Catania's fish market, they're worried for their livelihoods. It's hard to sell to restaurants that have fewer customers. Old clients are feeling the pinch. In summer, tourism was down. For the fishermen and stallholders, times have been increasingly tough for a number of years.
Certo, c'è crisi, stiamo morendo tutti da fame. Perché la pensione, e spatti parlano, se lo parlano, non ci richiedono.
Hanno alzato troppo i prezzi del gasolio e non vogliono farci lavorare più.
Questo va male, prima meglio. Prima andava meglio, ora va male questo. Perché non c'è, non lo so, non c'è denaro. Gente c'ha poco.
No, molto di meno, molto di meno, c'è molto di meno pesce dell'anno scorso, però diciamo tiriamo a campare quello che possiamo fare, quello che ci permette il mare.
Della montagna,
There is a growing underclass in Rome, and at this restaurant it's foie gras and duck on the evening menu, rice and vegetables, spinach and water at lunchtime for those facing hard times. Among the helpers we meet missionary nuns from Burkina Faso, Vietnam and Fiji.
Ho visto anche famiglie italiane che dormono per strada, vivono per strada, io l'ho visto. A Rimini ho incontrato una famiglia italiana, la mamma, figlio e la nuora. Ho detto, nonna, ma come si fa una persona così anziana dorme sulla banchina in giardino? Ho detto, mio figliolo, ho 500 pensioni, a me. Solo sabato e domenica mi fanno entrare a mangiare la mensa come si chiama. I giorni feriali no. Se li fanno entrare qua, prima si deve pensare questo, vengono 100 persone in una barca, ci sono 100 posti per dormire, ci sono 100 posti di lavoro in Italia, non ci sono. Allora perché li facciamo entrare qua? Perché li fanno entrare qua per stare per strada?
Sono arrivato qua che sono 20 anni che sto per strada, c'è un'officina, una famiglia, poi ci hanno tolato 200 milioni e ho cominciato a fare vita da strada. È aumentato tutto, solo lo stipendio non aumenta. Poi a 65 anni sono andato a fare 5 giorni di pulizie, mi devono pagare ancora, però non si trova niente.
Noi abbiamo avuto un aumento di 40 persone nel giro di 20 giorni. Da 80 persone siamo passati a 120, gente nuova, noi sono 8 anni che facciamo questo servizio, ma in poco tempo un aumento di tanti anche italiani, famiglie, giovani, tanti. La prima volta si sentono disorientati, però il nostro è li accogliamo tutti sempre, cerchiamo di accoglierli col sorriso, di trovarsi in una famiglia nuova e di poter anche poco ma aiutarli. Però poi piano piano diventano amici, ci chiamiamo per nome, e magari non vengono un giorno sì, un giorno no, oppure anche c'è chi viene tutti i giorni.
On our last visit, we'd been invited to a family-run restaurant in the heart of Rome, one that opened in the 1930s. The owner, Zoe, said times were tough. She didn't know what would happen.
So, hi Zoe, what are we having? What's this? What's in here?
This is rabbit in garlic sauce, and this is one of specialties of my grandmother, Silvana.
Wow, and what are we having here?
And here we made the pancetta for the gricia. That is the pasta we are going to eat. There is also our specialties.
So we've got pancetta, which is small pieces of ham, bacon.
No. This is this part of the pork. Usually a lot of people use the jaw, but my grandmother used to make with pancetta the gricia.
So tell me how the government can help you.
For sure, if I can spend less in taxes, will be easier. Also because you can pay much more the people working for you, so it's an incentivization, like. And but the taxes are really high. For every people I have here.
So for every one person.
Yeah, I spend not real, but almost the double on taxes. So, for example, they take 100, I bring 200. Because 100 goes
so half of it goes to
100
them.
Goes to them, the other 100 goes to the state.
And is it worse now than it was?
It's not, it's worse. Of course, everything is getting worse, so less money, but the taxes are...
Do you make money here?
Yeah, we make money. We have a lot of people came, usually. But the 60% I get goes away. So I remain with the 40 and I have to pay all the rest.
And all of the prices of gas and fuel and electricity, they're all going up?
At the moment, I have the luckiness that only the meat has not raised the price. For everything, all the rest are raised.
Like the tomatoes?
Yeah, but the bread, like in this year, it raised like 3 times. Like 80 cents in 1 year is a lot, in plus.
So it's 3 times the price it was?
It's a lot.
How do you manage?
I'm trying to figure out.
How much do you think running a business now is different to
A
when
lot.
your great-grandmother?
A lot.
In what way?
For everything, starting to the like proper run of the business. I mean, my grandmother doesn't know how to write or read, so but she can manage all the restaurant. Now, of course, you have to do a lot of administration as well. You are not just in the kitchen.
But you have to be a businesswoman.
Yeah, I am as well.
But it's tough today, isn't it?
No,
In
it is,
2022.
especially for a woman.
Why?
Yeah, also because I started at 24, so at first it was really hard to make people understand that I was actually the owner. So, and also because if you think about to have a family, who knows?
Now tell me about this.
Because when my grandmother was here, Trastevere was a totally different neighbor, so the kids were staying in the street, play footballs or whatever else. Now the society is completely changed. So.
If you have children, do you think this business will still be here for you to pass it
Who
on
knows?
to them?
My father didn't imagine that I run the business, so who knows?
Will you be able to stay doing this, do you think, or is it difficult to know?
I'm afraid that will not last forever.
Almost 2 years after our visit, Zoe has had enough. The Trattoria da Lucia will close in 2025. The area has changed, she says, and she's moving to Holland. Tunisia is now being paid millions to stop migrant boats leaving its shores, and numbers are falling. But so too is Italy's population. It will need more migrants fairly soon if it's to remain economically viable. The balance to be struck is difficult and presents challenges for all those we met on our travels.
Non può essere solo l'Italia ad accogliere tutti i migranti.
Perché li facciamo entrare qua? Perché li fanno entrare qua per stare per strada?
They are not coming here to steal the job to us. They come here to find a island where to live and to stay free from the war and from the pain.
Italy is still financing the system that I had to suffer from.
It also presents opportunities, both for those who do eventually settle in Italy or in other European countries, and for those who see their arrival as vital rather than a problem.